All right, welcome back. I'm going to cover the explicit rule right now. We have we've already found the common difference between our first example and our second example. I'm just using the same examples that we used in the last video to find the common difference. So if you're not sure where I got one from, go to the finding the common difference video, and that'll show you how I came up with d equals 1 and d equals 3 for these examples. So I don't want to spend time going over how to find the common difference because we found it in the last video. But just in short, the common difference for this one is 1 because we're adding 1 each time. And then in this one, it's 3 because we add 3 each time. So I'm going to go over the explicit rule twice, and then I'm going to make another video that has the recursive rule in it. Okay, so for the explicit rule, you're replacing two things. Okay, so I'm going to take this formula, and this formula is not going to change. I'm going to leave it on the board for your test. It's going to be the same thing. You just have to know which areas that you're going to substitute in. Okay, so f of n is going to stay the same. F of 1 is being replaced, the whole thing is getting replaced with your very first term. The very first term is 1 in this case, okay? So we're talking about f of 1 being replaced with 1 and 1, okay? So it's your very first term, okay? Our d, in this case, is 1, okay? And so I'm getting that 1 from here. So d, 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 okay? And n minus 1 stays the same, n minus 1. Okay, so that's your first step in the explicit rule. Now you've got to simplify it. So distribute your 1 here. And so you've got 1 times n is 1n. 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. And then we're going to bring down 1. Okay? So everything else is staying the same. And now you combine like terms. So there's no like terms to 1n. So we're just going to keep that 1n. And then 1 minus 1 equals 0. So plus 0. But you don't typically show 0 by saying plus 0. We're going to say 1n. And so f of n equals 1n. Okay? So now I have a formula that I could say if you had to find a term, you could substitute n in and it would give you the answer. Okay, so I'm going to try to go slowly again through this one. We're using that same formula up here. Okay, so f of n, so we're working on our second example, equals, well, f of 1, our very first term, is 30. We're going to replace that whole f of 1. Don't just replace 1 in there and leave the f on the outside. You've got to get rid of the whole f of 1. You've got to put 30 in there. It's all 30. Like, you're not leaving f of 30 in there. That says something completely different. You've got to replace the whole thing. Okay? Plus our common difference of 3 times n minus 1. Okay? So 30, you see my orange highlighting here, 30, 30, that's f of 1, okay? And then our common difference is 3, and now we're ready to simplify. So you've gotten, if you can get to this point, you're just substituting numbers in, you're gonna get most points on the test on this one. Now, the second step is for getting all the points on this question is to distribute. So 3n minus 3, bring down 30. So 3 times n is 3n, 3 times negative 1 is negative 3, and combine like terms, and that's going to be 3n, and then 30 minus 3 is positive 27. Bring your f of n down. Okay. So there is your explicit rule. So one last thing that we're going to add on this one, though, is that some questions say, what if I want you to find the 10th term? Okay, so what if I want to know what the 10th term is in this one? You are going to say, well, f of 10 equals, okay, and that's going to be where we're going to put our answer. You're going to substitute in 10 for all the n's. So f of 10 equals 3 times 10 plus 27. So 3 times 10 is 30 plus 27 equals 57. So f of 10 equals 57. And so I know there's a couple of problems that ask you to come back and substitute something in, so I just wanted to show that quick example. But finding the explicit rule, this here is your explicit rule. This is your explicit rule. Finding 57 is actually using the rule with a term. Okay, so just to let you guys know, if you post a comment, I'm going to open up the comments. If you post a question, I will do my best to get you another example of the video or go over it in class with you guys. If you post a negative comment though, that's not constructive to class, I am going to block you from using comments and you will no longer be able to ask questions. So yeah, so anyway, hope you guys have a good weekend. Talk to you later. Bye.